All right, we're live. Well, hey everyone, it's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you're at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy the show. Please give it a like and subscribe so that you can get all the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. A big thanks to Steve Weeks for the music and my patrons, Doug Jones, Joshua and Caleb Slinkard, and Tom Brotherman. If you'd like to find out more about becoming a patron, head on over to patreon.com/geocachetalk for more details. Today we have our second international show, this time from Northern Ireland with Sarah Murphy, the Geocaching Junkie. We also have geocaching news and our weekly product tip, maybe, if we get to it. So let's jump right into show number 10 for Sunday, August 14th, 2016. Well, thank you, Sarah, for joining the Geocache Talk show.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for asking me. This is the first time I've been on a podcast, so be gentle.
Yes. You're doing wonderful. And we had a good talk before we actually started the show. So we got a lot to talk about. So we're gonna dive right into some geocaching news. And Sarah, just dive in. I'm gonna ramble a little bit about the geocaching news, but just sort of especially the second one, since the second news article is actually your article from the blog. So this will be great. First one's Mission GC, and just to kind of let everybody know, we're actually pre-recording this, and we'll talk later about where Sarah is going to be jetting off to and why we're recording it a little bit early. But this is the second week of Mission GC, the second task in the Mission Impossible GC lineup. So at this point, we've gotten the first mission information if you're a premium member. And so Sarah, did you are you a premium member on?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I've got it.
Okay. Did you work out the first puzzle?
I did. Yeah, I kind of dropped everything when it came in and made sure, because I knew there'd be spoilers on social media, so I wanted to make sure I had a good crack at it before I saw any spoilers.
Right.
But a lot of people didn't get the email, even though they were premium. So there was a lot of that. I read a lot of that on social media, that people didn't have it and it was in their junk. And
yeah, junk mail. Yeah.
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not a big. Do you do a lot of puzzles? I don't do a lot of puzzles. So.
Right now, no, because I haven't got time. But there was a point in time where I did. Yeah, I did do a. Yeah. That was a big thing, that was like, oh, I don't, I have nothing to do and I'll just do that. But there hasn't really been any times lately where I've had nothing to do. So
right.
And it's one of those things you have to kind of, you have to keep it in your brain. It's like learning a language. You have to practice so it stays in there,
Right.
So yeah, I'm kind of out of practice with puzzle solving. So
I understand. That's something that I'm bad about. If I see a puzzle, it's like everything is like, I'm like a, like the old, oh, I saw a squirrel. It's like one of those kind of, all the pieces of it, like it's like I can't seem to. I like. Does the color mean anything? It's like no, Gary, you're overthinking it. Just step back a little bit. So anyway, so I had some people kind of remind me, don't overthink it. Don't go crazy. What?
Yeah, but isn't that so annoying when you don't know what, and then people are like, oh, don't overthink it, and you're like, oh.
Right. What part am I not overthinking?
Yeah.
What part do I focus on?
Yeah.
So anyway, so hopefully Mission GC is going well for folks. And then the next article that we're talking about tonight is your article, which I found wonderful. In fact, I retweeted it because I really thought you did a great job because as you know, I don't know what it's been like in Ireland. Let's step back a minute before. Well, we'll talk about you in a moment, but we'll talk about your blog. We'll talk about your blog and everything.
Yeah.
I get ahead of myself. So we'll talk for a minute about Pokemon Go. Of course, it's big over here, and I'm sure obviously you played it today even.
Yeah.
And people have been a lot of reactions, and you've probably read too, a lot of reactions in the geocaching community, and young, is it, what do we think about this? And I thought you did really good. The 7 things, and everybody needs to go read this article. It's in the show notes too, by the way, as well as in the links. I'm going to be adding your blog, Sarah. So that'll be great too. But tell me, I guess, talk a little bit about your experience so far playing it, and as how it relates to geocaching.
So, just to be kind of frank about it, when this first came out, I was totally against it. I was angry even, because it was like, oh, this is so cool, and it's, and I'm like, well, what about geocaching? We've been here for 16 years. I mean, it really bothered me, that everybody was like, oh, this is such a new thing, and it, I was like, no, it's not a new thing. And I had even my colleagues in work were like, oh, what do you think? And I was like, I'm not happy about it, But but like I said in the blog, it's like, I can't really hate it because I've never tried it. So I decided to try it for the blog. I said to my colleague in work, I'm trying it out because I need to keep current. So he asked me, he compared it to being like the Kardashians, that I had to be current,
Right.
So like the Kardashians of geocaching. I liked that analogy. But so I basically decided to try it out, and I assumed I was going to hate it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't hate it, but I'm not going to be giving up geocaching, that's for sure.
Sure.
I mean, and I think, yes, there's some similarities, but in many ways it's very different. So I don't see why you can't do both. And if you don't want to do it, that's fine. But if you do want to do it, there's no need to really bash it. Just let people do what they're going to do. I don't think, this thing called burnout, I think there's still all this hype at the moment, and I think it will die out. Mm-hmm. And there will be some people that keep playing, but there'll be many more that just give up. I know people who've already given up. They've already got bored with it. So.
Right. I know that a couple things. Interesting. One of the first things you mentioned about is drains your battery and overheats your phone. I mean, that's I kind of never thought about. I've heard some different things. That's interesting that you mentioned that. So, I mean, the geocaching apps tend to either the regular one or any of the other. It's using some power, but so the game really takes it out of the phone, does it?
Yeah, it's kind of, because with geocaching, obviously you have location turned on. That's the big thing that's draining the battery. Mm-hmm. But with Pokemon Go, you have location, your camera, you have to have your screen really bright.
Oh, okay.
So it's all these things that are really, it rapidly goes down. Okay. And I read this study, I mentioned it in the article. So they used it on an iPhone 6S now, and they said it took 15% battery in 30 minutes using no other apps. So assuming, with like my emails are, being pushed to my phone, and, different things, my Facebook probably as well. So you've got all that going on. And then my phone is not new. It's an iPhone 5S.
Yeah, I've got
same one using a brand new one out of the box, Yeah.
I've got a 5S too.
Yeah.
Now I've got a little Mophie battery on here, which does help. It's kind of helpful, and I carry one, but that's interesting. I had never. I mean, I guess I just wasn't thinking.
No, I mean, I really noticed it, and the phone gets really hot in your hand as well, because it's just working overtime. So I can't go too far from home, and then if you're like me and you get really into it, you're like, oh my god, I only have 2% left, and I have to catch this Pikachu or something,
Right, I gotta get through it.
It's really annoying. So you have to bring your battery pack if you're going to play.
Right.
If you're going to be serious about it.
Now, what size town do you live in, and do you have to go very far to play?
No. So I live in Belfast. I just moved here 4 months ago.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So it's a city. Well, it's not a big city. It's a city, but it's a small city, which is nice. But I live very close to the university, so it's like a Pokestop city. Yeah. There's so many. There's like, I think at least 15 within half a mile.
Okay.
And there's 3 gyms within half a mile. So you don't have to go far. So we went out for ice cream a few days ago, and we sat on a bench, and there was literally 15 or 20 people playing Pokemon, because we were sitting right at a gym.
Right.
So it was crazy. Yeah.
Well, and what's funny is I was kind of like your response. It's like, well, what's this upstart program? And made fun of it, but I understand it, What's funny about it now is that if we are in an urban area or relatively urban, and we have our phones out and we're searching for a geocache, people aren't going to be so. I mean, people are going to look at us and go, "Well, they're just playing Pokemon Go."
Yeah, and it's good.
Yes,
that's a good thing, definitely. Yeah.
So now we've got like
right.
So we got like a built-in excuse, of
yeah.
What are y'all doing? Oh, Pokemon Go. Okay,
yeah.
one of those people. But now it's like we've got a built-in, instead before when you were walking around with your phone and people are like, "What is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
Are you looking for a signal? Or no, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm trying to get a signal.
Yeah.
But and there's some other items. We won't go through all of them, but you come up with some really good items in it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think like that a big thing for me was with geocaching that it's especially in Ireland. There's so many beautiful remote places that you can go hiking and everything, and
yes,
I'm just going to assume there's no Pokemon there. Like it seems to be very much an urban activity. So, geocaching has got that plus, definitely.
Yeah, that's part of what I think will always be, unless they somehow improve the game to a point where you can get it, but since it's like, as we both know, it was built on Ingress. Ingress was built on the idea of I wouldn't call them historical, but like for example, in my little town, all the gyms are at like either a church or some sort of significant building,
a statue or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And so since it's built on the foundation of Ingress, at least for now, if you get a ways outside of the city, then it all kind of disappears.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, and I did test that out when I went to find a geocache, not very far out of the city. But there was nothing. It was just a desert, no Pokemon anywhere. So it doesn't work.
Right. Well, and we kind of touched on it, but let's go back and talk a little bit about your where you live, and we'll get into how you started geocaching. But just tell me a little bit about because you said you moved to Belfast, but you're from Ireland.
Yeah, I'm from just south of Dublin. So the Wicklow is the county and Bray is the town. And Bray is home to Europe's first geocache.
Yes.
So Europe's first GC43 was within my first 5 caches anyway. Oh, and I had no idea of the significance, none. And I think I've been up there at least 30 times more when, because we get a lot of meet and greet events when people come to do that cache.
Right.
So I've been up there, countless times. And also I go up for travel bugs to drop them off because it's a good place to get them gone from Ireland, and also I know the guy who's adopted it is a friend of mine. So I've been up there, I'll check on it. I'll remove things like bubbles and food and stuff like that from it,
Sure.
To help him out if I'm passing. And I know, we had an incident. I was away one weekend and the guy who adopted it was away, and he sends me a message and he's like, "Oh my God, somebody has DNF'd it." And this is like, oh my God, because you can't not find this cache, right? So you walk up and it's just this so obvious pile of stones.
Right.
An ammo can.
Right.
And somebody DNF'd it, and we were like, "Oh my God, it's definitely gone! I can't believe this,"
Yeah.
So I texted my mother. She's a geocacher.
Right.
She's she's over 70. Let's just say it that way.
Oh,
and
wow.
She hoofed it up the mountain to check it was there because we were both away, and it was there. So
cool.
Yeah. So it hasn't really gone missing since. It was in a slightly different place, I think, when it was placed 16 years ago. Very slightly, like 20, 30 meters maybe. And it went missing a couple of times there. So it was moved slightly, but nobody seems to touch it.
Yeah. Well, GC43, and for everyone, I'll put a link in the show notes to it, but you got to go look at this. Look at the cache. Not really the cache, but the view from the cache is just gorgeous. It's a wonderful view.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a coastal path, so it's called the Cliff Walk. And it's, as I said, it's my hometown. So the Cliff Walk, it links 2 different towns. So you can do the whole walk. I think it's about 5 miles maybe. I've done it a few times. You can get the train back if you want to go one way. So most of the caches along the walk are owned by me and Donica, who's adopted GC43. So it's this whole series of caches that you can do one way. It's it's linear, but you can get the train on either end, so it's fine.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it's good. But when you're up at GZ, you can see the sea, the Irish Sea, and you're people will see you up there, but they don't really know what you're doing. Especially in the summer because the ferns are really tall, so they don't know what you're doing.
Sure.
So it's fine. They'll kind of go, what are they doing? But they're not going to come up to where you are, so it's fine. Because I found I've been twice now to GC40, which is the next oldest cache in Europe.
Oh, okay. Where's that one at?
That's in Belgium.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so it has a lower number because they kind of messed up all the numbers right at the start.
I understand.
And people do get confused, but it's from July 2000.
Yeah.
So it's a month.
Yes.
Older or younger, sorry. I've been there, and it's in the woods. It's fine, but it's nothing compared to the view you get at GC43. It's really incomparable. So
sure. Well, you go for that one just because of the number.
Yeah, and also it's on the 00 line on the Eastings, I think. So it's a lot. Well, if you can get your GPS to go all the way down to 00000. Yeah, right. So that's kind of cool.
That's neat. Yeah. Slinky Mom and I, we did Mingo, and we did Terrial, which is in Colorado. It's GC18, so same kind of deal.
Right. Okay.
It's not as old as Mingo, but the numbers are a little skewed. But
so is that that's May 2000 or?
Mingo's May. I think Terrial, it's the oldest in Colorado, is July.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
I'm sure if I mess it up, somebody will email me, but it's somewhere around there.
I haven't heard of that one, so I know Mingo is on my list, but I don't know when I'm going to be going to Kansas. So
yeah, I know. Well, if you get a chance, and we'll talk about some of them that you have done in the U.S. here in a minute. But I've got to ask. It's a non-geocaching question, but you live now in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
What is it like to travel between Ireland and Northern Ireland? Do you actually stop? Do you have to show a passport?
No.
Okay. Nothing.
No, it's nothing. You don't know, other than the sign that says "Welcome to Northern Ireland."
Okay.
And the road markings are slightly different.
Okay.
But there's nothing at the moment. Now, obviously, the UK have left Europe, so what's going to happen remains to be seen. But at the moment, you don't even know, really. I mean, we have in the south, there's still Irish place names. So it's in Irish and English, but not in Northern Ireland. It's just English.
Okay. Gotcha.
Very slight differences. And they're miles per hour and we're kilometers. So, which is tough for me because my car only has kilometers. So now I know I know them off by heart now, the conversions, but it was hard at the start.
Both drive on the left side?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that would be difficult now if you had to change.
Would that be crazy if they changed? Yeah.
They would have to have a border just so you could reset your mind.
Right. Move the steering wheel? No, I guess it doesn't work.
No.
All right. Well, that's great. All right. Enough, Gary, of my curiosity. Let's get back to geocaching. So, okay. So when did you first learn about geocaching?
Well, I think it was June, maybe July 2013. So my brother-in-law in England, he's a cub leader, so like scouts.
Oh, okay.
The younger ones, they're called cubs, yeah. And he learned about it through that. So he had to bring the cubs geocaching. So he went geocaching himself to find out what it was all about, and he really enjoyed it. So he started caching. So he has a few months on me. So then my mother went to visit them. She came home. She said, "Oh, we did this thing," and not, no offense to her, but she's really bad at explaining stuff. So I was like, "That sounds really weird." So I just never even thought about it again. And then in August 2013, they came over for a visit, and it was a weekend day. I can't remember, but they were like, "Oh, we're going to go find caches around, the hometown Bray, because it's so nice. It's on the beach, and then you also have the hill and everything. It's really nice."
Sure.
So we went and we're looking, and I don't even really know what we're looking for, but they're like, "Yeah, it's a thing. It's a container," and it was a little, it was a bottle top, and it was at this kind of spooky hotel, which is still used, but it hasn't been like renovated for like 50 years. So it's kind of spooky looking, and they've filmed some movies at it and stuff.
So is it very, when you say small in bottle top, is it like?
Yeah. It's like the top of like a.
Here's a bottle.
Yes,
is it like?
Yeah, like that.
Oh, it's like just the tiny.
It's like two. What they do is they put two tops together.
Yes, I've seen those.
Go through it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was like that, and it was magnetic. So anyway, I ended up finding it. I put my hand on it. And my sister was like, because she hadn't got, this is my other sister. So yeah, I have 4 sisters. So she was like, oh, maybe that's it. And I was like, no, that's garbage.
Well,
and then my brother-in-law was like, no, that's it. So then, and even though I thought it was garbage, I was like, this is really cool.
Right.
So we ended up finding a few more that day. We didn't find Europe's first. He wasn't aware of that either at that time because he hadn't started that long. But we found a few caches, and I found a coin that day.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, which was really cool. And I ended up bringing that with me to, so that was August. So in the October then I happened to go to Chicago for a little while, and I ended up putting the coin there. I left it there.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
So now you're going to get people who listen to the show and they're like, oh, I know somebody in Ireland now. I'll start sending stuff to Sarah because she's over in Ireland. So.
Well, we have one of those, those portals for trackables. So they, what's it called? You put them in, and it's a friend of mine that owns it, and then he has to mail them to different portals. I'm not sure what U.S. states they're in, but that's near me anyway. So sometimes I pick stuff up from there.
Oh, okay. Very cool. And so then after that, of course, you were hooked. Well, you mentioned a little bit about who you go geocaching with, but who else do you?
So there's, so my brother-in-law and his family, my sister, she has her own account, and my niece, their daughter, she has her own account now, and the 2 boys don't have their account, but they go too. Then there's my mother. So she went geocaching with me a lot at the beginning, and actually I wrote a poem about her being my first geo buddy. It's in Kim Eldridge's new book.
Oh yes.
Yeah, GPS personal stories, geocaching personal stories. Yeah.
I noticed your name was in there. It's you're her geo buddy.
Yes, yeah. So she was my first geo buddy. Yeah. So we used to go like all the time. Yeah.
Right.
So so she's I would go with her a lot, and her geocaching name is The Mother because she's my mother. Yeah.
Oh, so that's neat. So she signs things, The Mother.
The Mother. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. So it's funny. And then, I have so many, as I think I mentioned to you before, we have this really tight community of geocachers in Ireland, and you will always find somebody to go geocaching with.
That's awesome.
We have, obviously, I think, is it Indiana, Ireland is the same size as, so we're small.
Right.
But
and you were saying there's not not a lot of geocachers, but there's quite a few, enough, like you said, that you can find. Find someone, or people show up for events, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I had an event today actually, and
neat.
We had like 15 people.
Well, that's great.
Maybe 20. Yeah. So yeah, a really good event would be like 40 or 50.
Sure.
I think there's probably, which is the same everywhere, there's geocachers that don't go to events, whether they just don't want to, or they don't know about them, or whatever.
Exactly.
But I see more and more we have, newer geocachers that are coming to events early on, which is great. And we had, a few new people today as well. And we always have visitors in Bray. It was in my hometown today, so I just came back from there before we spoke. So there was an air show on, so an air display. So I go every year because it's in the hometown or whatever. So I thought maybe I'll have a geocaching event. So everybody can come to me because I'm going to be there anyway. So but it
works out great.
Yeah, but it was really good. So everybody was like, "Oh, thank you for making me come," because it was really cool. So so that was something different. But of course there was a German guy there who was visiting to go to Europe's first and everything.
Oh yeah.
So he came to the event too. It would be rare to have an event in Bray or Dublin without somebody visiting.
Then
we get a lot of visitors. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, where so you've geocached in several locations. Where are some places that you have outside of Ireland?
So, well, the next biggest country is the UK, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my other half is English.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done a lot in England, and also my sister lives there too. So I've done a lot there. So mainly England for UK, and just so Northern Ireland, although it's part of the UK in geocaching terms, it's part of the geographical area of Ireland.
Okay.
So if you find caches in Northern Ireland, they count as Ireland and not UK.
Okay. Well, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it's actually a bit of a contentious issue for some people. So we won't go into it because they chose the geography rather than the politics.
Right.
Because it's an island. So
makes sense.
Yeah. So so UK. I've actually done a lot in Belgium. I've been there last year and this year. I went to Belgium. Last year when I was in Belgium, so my uncle was studying there, and I brought my mother over and we went geocaching, and I decided that we're going to geocache in 5 countries in a day.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So we did that. Yeah, that was really cool. So it wasn't, as bad as you think it would be, because it's quite small. So you've got Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, they're smallish countries.
Yep.
And then France and Germany. And we literally just, sneaked into France just over the border.
Sure.
And then just sneaked into Germany. And again, all open borders. So you're not stopping to show passports or anything.
Because of the European Union, which we don't have enough time tonight to talk about.
No.
Brexit.
We'd be here for a long time, yeah.
We'd be here for a while. So
it was quite easy to do, actually. And then on the way back, so we were staying in Belgium. So we started in Belgium. I did GC40, which we talked about earlier. And then we did France, Luxembourg. We stopped for lunch in Luxembourg. Then we did Germany, and we literally walked into the Netherlands.
Cool.
So there's like a sign. It's like it looks like it's in the middle of this town. And it says, like, you are now entering Germany, which is really cool.
Yes. I watched a video one time. I don't know, I'm kind of fascinated by it, but it talks about over there, and especially like the area you're talking about, sort of Belgium, Netherlands, that's sort of some of those areas in there where they've got parts of countries inside of other countries.
Yeah, because they kind of sneak in, and then they're if you look at the map, you can see that. Yeah,
sort of odd.
That's true. Yeah.
So, and we talked about before the show, it doesn't cost much for you sort of to fly, and we'll talk about why you're not flying here soon. But going to like Belgium, going to the main European continent, is it still not much to fly, sort of from Belfast to say Brussels or?
Well, it's actually more expensive to fly from Belfast to anywhere. Okay. I find so we go from Dublin. So if we've got an early morning flight, we'll just stay with my mother and then go. So so from Dublin, it's really cheap. You can get €20 flights. When we went to Belgium was quite cheap. I think it was €30 return.
Okay.
Flight.
Cool.
So it's really cheap. I mean, it depends on where you want to go. I was in Barcelona in Spain in February. That was a little bit more expensive. So they just, I think there's certain places where they know a lot of people want to go. So it's always more expensive. So places like Barcelona, Paris, Berlin, Munich, Copenhagen, always that little bit more expensive usually.
Right.
But still really doable,
And you also got to go to Monaco.
Yeah. So I went almost 2 years ago now, October 2014. I brought my mother for a week. We went on vacation. We flew into Nice.
Yes.
And I hired a car. So we did caching around Nice. We did another French town called Antibes. Gorgeous, really nice. And then we drove into Monaco for the day.
That's awesome.
So it's quite a nice one to get on your list of countries cached in.
Yeah.
So, and I even did an earth cache there, the only earth cache in Monaco.
Oh,
so
wow.
That was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Land Monkey will be thrilled that you did an earth cache. He's a big earth cache fan.
Funny with the earth cache in Monaco, it ended up being geocache of the week not long after I was there, and they used my comment from my log.
Cool.
That's awesome. I didn't even know when somebody I know said it to me. They were like, "Oh, look, you," and I was like, "Oh, okay." But so it was actually a really cool earth cache. It was in a cave. You had to go underground and stuff. So that was cool. So then we did France, Monaco, and then we did Italy. So we were supposed to go to Genoa on the coast. and there was these flash floods. So a friend of mine I work with, she's from there, and so we're getting on the train. We're at the train station. We're going to go to Genoa, and she texts me, "Oh, I don't think you should go. There's flash floods," and we had no idea because, of course, the news was all in French. I don't speak French. I speak German, but not French, so I had no clue. So yeah, I rang the hotel and they were like, "Yeah, well, we're still here, but yeah, you can cancel free of charge." Literally, my friend was like, "You're not going to be able to leave the hotel. The caches are all going to be gone."
No.
So we didn't bother. So we just skipped Genoa and we went to Milan then for 4 days instead.
Oh, neat. Oh,
so
awesome.
It was nice. We were going to Milan for 2 days anyway, but 4 days I think was a good idea. It was nice. They're really cool caches in Milan. I was really impressed with them. So
very cool.
It was worth doing. So that's another 3 countries that I've done. And then Germany I've been to a couple of times. We went to so somebody I met at a geocaching event in Bray early on when I started geocaching, kept in touch with him, and he lives in Bremerhaven, which is kind of northwest-ish. It's a port, and he was like, "Oh, do you want to come over for the weekend?" So I went and stayed with him, and we went geocaching for the weekend, and we had an event and everything, and that was really cool. So I did a lot of caches that weekend. And then this year we went to the Giga in Essen.
Yes, a Giga event. Cool.
Yeah.
Something we've never seen yet over here.
Yeah. Will it happen? I don't know. I mean, it was just because there was so few, like there was 1, 2, 3. There was 6 of us from Ireland. That was it.
Wow. And then we're talking a lot of people.
Yeah, there was over 5,000 people there.
Sure.
Maybe nearly 6 even. But it was overwhelmingly German people.
Right.
So they just travel for those, those events. So, and that's why they can do it, because, they have the most geocachers per head in the population or whatever. So
how's your German?
Oh, I speak fluent German. I studied German in college. So it's, yeah. So it's fine. Yeah, well, it really is.
That is awesome. Because
sorry, go ahead.
I was say just going to another country, sometimes it can, but
it's funny. I get texts sometimes from other Irish geocachers. I'm in Germany. Can you tell me what this hint means, or what these logs say, or can you read, the cache description?
Right.
Because I found a lot in France. Well, where we were anyway, in Nice and in Milan, a lot of the stuff was in English as well, which is really nice.
Sure.
I know a little bit of Italian, but not really any French at all. But in Germany, you'd be pushed to find anything in English. It's mostly just German. So it is difficult if you don't understand any of the language at all. So I think I'm kind of spoiled, because in many ways German is the language of geocaching in Europe.
Right. Yeah, German is very predominantly a lot of geocaching in Germany. So
yeah, I mean that's the thing. The way I measure it would be, if you say to a German who is not a geocacher, "Have you heard of geocaching?" 9.9 times out of 10 they're going to say yes.
They've heard of it.
Yeah, if I say it to an Irish person, 1 time out of 10 they'll have heard of it, and I'll be shocked if they've heard of it.
Right.
I'll be like, "What, really?" You just it's in the news over there, and it's, I don't know, they just all know about it.
Yeah,
so, which is nice, because then it's normal,
Yeah, and you don't have to go through now I get to explain.
Yeah.
I live in East Texas. I'm east of Dallas, and it's a pretty much a constant. If it comes up for whatever reason, then it's like, okay, which version do I give? Do I give the 1-minute version of what geocaching is?
Short version.
Do I know him well enough that, is this a friend? I can go through more of a 5-minute version, the 3-minute version, but that is neat. So
somebody needs to come up with an elevator pitch, I think. Really good.
I know, that'd be awesome. Here it is.
Yeah.
So going to a first Giga, I know was obviously really cool. So another favorite geocaching experience for you was coming to the States, and where did you go and what did you do when you were here?
Okay, so the first time when I started geocaching in 2013, I went to the States shortly after that. Actually, I was going to a wedding in Wisconsin.
Okay, because you also did Chicago
Yes, so that was the same trip. So
same trip. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So when I lived in Germany for a year. When I was in college, I studied for a year there, and I met some friends who are from Wisconsin. So we're still friends now. They're coming to my wedding, and I went to their weddings, and yeah.
Great.
So I was going to their wedding in Wisconsin, and I wasn't really hugely into geocaching. Like if I think about it now, the planning that would go into a trip like that, geocaching wise, would be huge.
Sure.
But I went and I kind of went, oh, I should, maybe I'll try and get a cache in Wisconsin. Anyway, long story short, my flight was late, was hugely delayed. I had to go, I was stuck in Dublin. That was what happened. Yeah. So my flight got in really late to Chicago. And when I arrived, I had to drive to Wisconsin, and I was really late for the party. It was the day before the wedding. Then the day of the wedding, we were hungover, and then we had the wedding. And anyway, I didn't get to do a geocache at all.
Oh, okay.
So I tried to do one on the last day, but it was really heavy raining, and you had to get behind a bush. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. And we'd just been at the wedding the day before, and I was like, no. Right. But I really regret that now, because I'll probably never go to Wisconsin again.
Well, you never know.
Well, you never know, but I don't know. It's not likely. None of my friends that are from there live there.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of, they were there to get married because that's where they're from. But so anyway, then I drove back to Chicago, and I stayed with my cousin there, and it turned out that his partner was a geocacher.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, which was great. So we went geocaching, and then I was with my sister in New Jersey, and I did a few, but nothing huge. Sure. So then I had this idea, you get talking to people and everything, and a few Irish cachers. Well, maybe it was only one actually. I think two. Yeah, there was two Irish cachers who had been to HQ, and they were like, "Oh, it's awesome," and blah blah blah. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go. So I really went crazy. I booked. So my friends who got married in Wisconsin, they live in Portland.
Oh, you're close. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're moving to Chicago. Would you believe, in a couple of months? But they lived in Portland when I went last year. So I was like, I'll go to Portland. I'll visit them. We'll go to Original Stash. We'll get the GC12, the really old one.
Yes.
And then I was like, well, I wasn't going to, but somebody said to me, oh, you're going to be so close, you should go to Canada. I've never been to Canada. So I was like, okay, well, I'll go to Vancouver. So I went to Vancouver, and then I drove back down to Seattle, and I went to HQ.
Oh, cool.
And then I was there, and then I flew over to the East Coast. So my sister and brother live in New Jersey. Right. So I was visiting with them, and I met my other half then. He'd never been to New York. So we stayed 2 nights in New York, and we did Bridges and Arches of Central Park.
Oh, I heard that's cool.
And he deserves a medal for that, because that took us hours.
Oh, I've heard it. Yes, that's
so
awesome.
We had 3 days there, and we didn't do it all in one day. We did a few hours here and there, but that was, it really was painful at the end, because he wasn't really that into it, but I really wanted to finish it. So, that was really cool. So it was a huge geocaching trip from start to finish. It was really awesome. So,
what a good soul to stay with you, and but he loves you, so he's willing to.
He's the reluctant participant. That's what I call him. So
that's okay. He's willing to do some of that. Well, that's good. Well, so let's talk a little bit about when you aren't actually out finding those geocaches. You were doing something. What else are you involved in?
Well, obviously the blog.
Yeah, we'll talk about the blog.
A lot of time.
Yeah. What do you do outside of the geocaching and the blog? We'll talk about the blog.
Okay. I do. Well, obviously, if you read my blog, my bio has that I love writing. So when I was in college, I wrote for the newspaper and wanted to be a journalist. And you know how life is sometimes; it just doesn't work out. Sure. So I didn't ever after college didn't do that. Studied translation, didn't become a translator either, but you know how these things are. Sure. So somebody had the idea to write a blog, and from doing that, I've had opportunities to write, not just about geocaching. So
that's cool.
So the most recent thing I wrote was a list of things that change when you move from south to north in Ireland.
Oh, cool. That's a good idea.
So yeah, so that was an article on a website called Belfast Vibe. So yeah, so and I've written some travel stuff about Ireland on a website called Got Ireland. Yeah, so a lot of writing basically.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Mostly about geocaching. I've done guest posts on websites about geocaching as well, like intro to what is it, that kind of thing. So yeah, so very busy typing away all the time, really.
Yes. Well, something I forgot to mention with the news section we did. It's sponsored by FTF Geocacher magazine, and Keith is always looking for someone to do articles. So
Well, I was actually. I don't know what. It was a few months ago. I had 2 articles in there.
Oh, did you? I thought you did.
Yeah, I have it here.
Let me grab it. Yeah,
where it is. It's this one.
Is it this one?
Yeah.
We're both same one.
Yeah. It's volume 7, issue 1. Yeah.
I thought you know what? Because I was thinking when I said that, I'm like, this is really weird. I'm saying this because I thought, no, I know she knows about this because then I was thinking, no, maybe she doesn't. I went crazy there for a brief moment, but
yeah. So I had 2 articles in that one.
So what page are you? What page is it on?
8 and 15.
Okay, let me flip over there. Oh yes. I remember this article. Earth caches are easy. Yes.
Yeah, I love earth caches. Earth caches are my favorite caches. So
that is a great. Yes, it's a great article. So
that was one that I wrote for the magazine, and then the other one was the 10 types of geocacher, which just for some reason, I now know what going viral means.
Yes.
That went crazy everywhere.
Cool.
So geocaching, they shared it on their social media and it went crazy. So then it was somebody emailed me, and please forgive me if you're listening, but I can't remember your name. But it wasn't Keith, it was somebody else who was trying to find content for him, and he said, oh, please send this in, it's really good. So then I said, if you want to use this. So I didn't write, that's just literally what was in my blog, just reproduced in the magazine, which is nice for me because it gets more reach and I didn't really need to do anything extra.
Yeah, that's a cool article. So there's the 10 types of geocacher article, which was also really good. The good thing too is it mentions down here at the bottom.
Yeah, I saw that on the same page.
There's my picture with back when I was on Cache and Release. But what's interesting, I mentioned your blog. So
yes,
your blog is thegeocachingjunkie.com.
That's it. Yeah.
And it's a great blog. You do a great job. I know how much work that is, but you do a great job, Sarah.
Thank you.
That is a wonderful. I like when people are able to write in such a way that you feel like you're being drawn in to. I think we both have read items, and we're reading through it, and I'm like, this isn't really drawing me into this story. I'm getting, I'm getting distracted, and I'm not really paying attention to the story. Yeah. But I love yours because so often I feel like I'm right there with you, as you're doing a geocache or you're, talking about it.
Oh, that's good.
So that's, you're capturing what you're wanting for people I think to capture is that come along with me for this the story. So
yeah, I mean that's part of what I want, and I think a lot of people start geocaching blogs, and a lot of people start blogs full stop, and they know what they want to do, but then they get lost along the way.
Sure.
And I think I did too. Because I really love traveling as well, and I decided that I needed to have 2 blogs, one for geocaching, one for traveling, and it didn't work. Right, so
doing one or the other, and you're like, this is a lot of work.
Yeah, and I already, geocachers go traveling too, so that's my, that's my audience. they're the people who read my blog. So if you look at my blog, I have a travel blog section which doesn't mention geocaching, just as about travel. And it's not, I do more geocaching articles than just pure travel ones. But if I go somewhere and I'm going geocaching, I'll mention like where we ate, if I liked it, where we stayed. So, and I think that's good for geocachers. If they're going to go, I'm going to go to this place, then then we could eat there and we could stay there, which is nice.
I like the fact, because even though you've kind of got them in a sense separated, though, I feel like I'm getting the whole experience, because I do want to know, the geocaching I want to know, but you're right. We all have, where do I eat? What pubs do I kind of go to? There's different things that you can get that they're part of the, like you said, part of the whole experience of.
Yeah, of course.
So that's great. So
and just little things like, we went to County Clare at the end of May, and the B&B that we stayed in, he gave us a really good tip on how to go and see the famous cliffs without paying.
Oh,
so I put that in the blog, because it was a great tip, and I thought, well, I really want to share that with people, because it's expensive to go. You have to pay for parking, and then you have to pay to get into the visitor center. When we don't really want to go in there, you just want to see the cliffs.
Sure.
So the tip was just, if you go after 7, they leave the barrier open.
Oh, okay.
You can just walk in and not pay for parking.
Okay.
And because it's the summer, it's bright here until like 10:30, 11.
Right.
So we have really long days in the summer. Sure. So, we watched the sunset, and we had already been there for hours,
Right.
So it was a really good tip. So I like, obviously I'm picking up these things while I'm there, and I like to share that stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
With people.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, in talking about the blog, and you put a note in the show notes, I thought it was interesting. It's like, I don't really plan a long way in advance, but so kind of like you're saying, things like that, you kind of pick them up as you go. Yeah. Do you try to, do you go places for the blog, or you pretty much you travel so much or get out enough that the blog sort of happens in a sense? I
think I just go anyway because I want to go and see something, and then it's always an afterthought, like, oh, that'll be really good for the blog, and I recently, so we were in Clare, which is the west of Ireland, and then we were in Donegal earlier this month, and that's northwest. And somebody commented when they read the Donegal blog, they were like, oh, I can't wait to see where you go next. And I kind of said to my other half, I was like, okay, we need to go somewhere next,
right?
Because we don't really have a plan of somewhere else in Ireland for the moment. So I'm like, right, we need to probably go somewhere. But I mean, it's not always about Ireland, but there's so many places to see in Ireland. I think
I can't wait.
For such a tiny island, there's a lot to see. Definitely, you could spend your whole life and you wouldn't see everything, I think.
Yeah, so something that that Susan and I talked about. I'm told you, but Susan and I've talked about before I came across your blog, was just wanting to go. We really want to go to Ireland. We both have a lot of descendants from Ireland and from England both, but we've been to England and Scotland, and we want to. Our next big trip, I think, is going to be to Ireland. So, but that's something that at least now. Well, how long have you been doing the blog?
December 2014, it went live.
Okay.
So I started with a lot of posts about my favorite caches wherever I travel to up until then. So I just about 20 blog posts. I just published them all together.
Okay. And right. So now you probably are more. Now you've been doing this now for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. You sort of are now in more of the mode of when you're traveling. You're like, because you're thinking blogger, geocacher,
totally,
traveler at the same time. So so that kind of helps because you're kind of like, oh, I'll make a note, and I can add this.
Oh no, I have this app actually called Evernote. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Oh yes, Evernote.
I love that app. Yeah, it's great. So I use that, but I also have, I don't know if you can see behind me. It's a blackboard and a whiteboard. It's for kids. It's from IKEA. So I write stuff on that when I think of it, because I have, you know, Evernote is fine, but for some reason I need to actually see it when I walk into the room every day.
Mm-hmm.
So, so on the Blackboard part, I have in bubbles all my ideas.
Okay.
For future blog posts, but like I say, I don't plan in advance. I don't plan like I'm going to do this week.
Yeah.
You know, I'll just go, right, I have a spot that I need to fill and what's on the board, and I'll take one and I'll put it in. I tried to, the last couple of months, I've tried to plan the month out.
Mm-hmm.
And now, because I'm going to be away from next weekend for a while, I need to still publish stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to do a bit of planning to make sure this stuff's still being published when I'm gone.
Okay. Very good. Yeah. And you got Signal the Frog up there. I see that.
Yes, that's my little. I have a bigger one as well, but he's in my mother's house.
Oh, very cool. So as you're talking about, and something I mentioned, and we're now coming back to it now as we're getting toward the end, is that we had to do the show early because you're going to Wales, which also I have a lot of Welsh, but so you're going to Wales and you're going to do. There's a mega there.
Yeah, so there's so we're actually going for 9 days. We're going to 3 megas.
That's cool.
3 megas in 7 days.
Wow.
So there's the Pirate Mania is the first one, which is in England.
I've
never been to it, so.
Okay, I gotta say that one's been going for a few years.
Yes, it has.
Heard, okay.
Yeah, I haven't been to it yet. So. Which reminds me, I never picked up my pirate outfit from my mother's house, but I can do that on Tuesday, so it's okay. So you're supposed to dress like a pirate. That's now. Other than that, I don't really know what else to expect, so we'll see. So that's Pirate Mania is on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday there's the Geo Olympics.
Oh yes, I've been keeping track of that one.
Yeah, that's also in England. Yeah,
I get a lot of tweets. And I read a lot about that one.
Yeah,
so cool.
So that's Geo Olympics on the Sunday, and that evening they have the British and Irish Geocaching Awards. So, and I'm presenting an award for special achievement, which is really cool because I've interviewed one of the nominees, and I'm about to publish a post about another one of the nominees. So, yeah, so it just so happened that way. So that was kind of cool. And then I've been nominated for award too. So
awesome.
So yeah, well, so they put the blogs and podcasts and everything in one category called social mediaist.
Okay.
And mine was the only blog, so I feel like I've already won because that was so many geocaching blogs. So I was really happy just to make it to that short list. So that was really nice. So that's going to be really cool. And then we're going to visit my parents-in-law to be next year. Oh, yes.
Wait. Did you just announce there's a wedding? There's going to be a wedding?
No, it's not. It's not a secret.
I know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So
that's
we're
going to go see them. Probably, not too many geocaches on that bit of the trip. And then we're going camping in Wales for the UK Mega, which is an annual event. And I think this is the 9th year of this Mega. And it's going to be my 3rd time to that Mega. So the first year I went, 2014, it was in Scotland.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you if it moves around. So it does.
Yeah. Okay. So it was in Ayr in Scotland, 2014. 2015, it was in Essex in England, which is near where my sister lives. And we had the time of our lives. It was amazing. It was like the weather was like south of Spain.
Right.
I mean, we couldn't have had better. And we camped, so it was just amazing. So I'm fingers crossed for good weather this time because we're camping, and my other half has never been camping.
Oh wow!
So I'm hoping it doesn't rain.
Wow.
So,
Well, he did. Wonderful to hear that he's willing to sort of.
He's very dubious, but he is going. So it might be the one and only time.
No.
And then we've got next year the UK Mega. So is a week before my wedding. So
where is that going to be at? Do you know?
It's going to be in Devon, so southeast, I think. If I know my English geography.
Yes.
And so it was funny actually, just a few days ago I got a Facebook message from my brother-in-law in England, and he was like, you need to settle a bet for us. Are you going to go to the Mega next year? And I was like, I'm not sure. I'm thinking about flying in and out in one day.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, I knew it. He said, I told your sister that you would go. And she said, no, she won't go.
It's too close to the wedding.
Yeah, a week. It's literally 7 days before.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So I'm thinking I might fly in and out. We'll see. I don't know. The pressure to, it's a streak. So I'd be breaking the streak if I don't go.
Yeah. Well, you never know. By then, maybe your significant other will be really into geocaching.
Yeah, maybe. Stranger things have happened, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess. Well,
yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing about your megas on the blog and everything. So
I'll be busy the week after I come home, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Writing everything up.
Well, we're going to wrap up. Is there anything else? Just stay tuned for more from the blog, and I'm going to keep track of the Geo Olympics too to see how you do and see if you win.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see. I'm not too confident. There's some really good. There's a YouTuber and there's some really good podcasts. UK, it's UK and Ireland only. So, but I was also the only Irish person in that category, which was nice too.
Yes, that's wonderful.
So, yeah.
Well, let me mention that coming soon, Geocache Talk next week on August 21st. I'm having on for show 11 Chris Umfenauer. He's the bad cop, is what he goes by. We're going to talk about another mega. We're talking about the Going Ape cache, the Going Ape event up in Washington. They still have that, even though the last ape cache, the last ape cache in the U.S. is gone.
Yeah.
They still have the event.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to talk about that and just usual hijinks between the two of us. But the next week is kind of to be determined at this point in working on that. But then the week after that, for Lucky Show number 13 is going to be Nick Hubbard with Cashly is going to be on the show on September 4th. So that'll be fun talking to him. I'm wearing his shirt today. Wait, let me.
Oh, cool! You got a free shirt.
Nice. Let me switch screens here. So So
yeah, I like Cashly. I use Cashly too.
I'm wearing my Cashly shirt. So yeah, nice. Nick got me a shirt. So I'm very happy about supporting Nick. In fact, Nick is our product review. We're not going to do the any product reviews tonight, but when I do product reviews, Nick is the sponsor of that. So definitely check out Cashly. It's the foremost geocaching app. Can be found at cach.ly. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely, and love to have you back sometime. We'll do some more talk about things and your experiences and just how the blog is going and how the wedding is.
Nobody wants to hear about that.
Yeah, it's always fun to hear about what people are up to. But so if you enjoy the show, email me your comments. geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter @geocachetalk and Facebook at facebook.com/geocachetalk. Show can be found on iTunes and Stitcher, as well as the Geocache Talk website. Tell your friends about the show. Ask them to subscribe so they too can hear the show on a weekly basis. And until next week, like Sarah says, don't just talk about geocaching or write about geocaching, but go geocaching. So good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. All right, I stopped the recording. Let me stop the broadcast. So bye, everybody.